I really don't know what to believe anymore, Leroy. I got to be honest with you.
Well, everybody's trying to make but here's the crazy thing about the whole story is that what they're talking about as to why they had to make a move has nothing to do with his injury.
Right.
Which is, if you're going to put, we had to get rid of him because he didn't rehab right, I don't want to hear a story about something else.
Because people will, I think it's what happened is people were like, come on, bro. That can't be the story.
Right.
That can't be the story. Like, it's.
But the partying and the ankle?
No.
Or the kissing the forehead of another teammate?
I think what I mean, Vlad, is like when he first, they basically said this was just a disagreement over rehab.
Right.
Like, that can't be the reason you're dumping a guy after a year. Now, I understand this particular regime didn't sign him. So,
yeah.
Like, it was a different GM, different coach. Pete Carroll's now in charge. But still, I mean, like, this is one of those things where, like, this isn't the second year you're going into it. He suffered the injury last year. There's a little bit of a disagreement on where they're at, but I don't even know now what to believe, because was it the injury or is it that he kissed a teammate on the head and that teammate went to HR? That was the thing that was
HR. Hold on.
No, wait. Hold on.
Vlad?
He's right, though.
I'm not lying.
He is right.
I'm not lying.
I know. Vlad.
No, he is right, though.
I know. Okay, but Vlad.
I know, but he's right. How is he supposed to handle it? Because you know what? He could have handled it another way, and it might have been even bad for him. You're going to be going to London. So he could, it could have been handled a different way. The fact that he went to HR, I mean, I know it's kind of weak, but he actually handled it the way he should have handled it.
Protocol. Christian Wilkins is ESPN, who was released by the Raiders, kissed a fellow player on the head, and the teammate took offense to it, a source told ESPN's Adam Schefter. The incident was not the sole reason Wilkins was cut, sources said. Wilkins had been recovering from a Jones fracture, which he suffered in his left foot last October. Because of how Wilkins treated the rehab from his injury, the Raiders voided the remainder of the $35.2 million guaranteed on his contract. He was released with a designation of terminated vested veteran, sources told Schefter. Wilkins asked the NFL Players Association to file a grievance on his behalf. The union did so on Thursday. Last week's incident happened inside a team meeting room. One source told ESPN that the interaction was playful, but the teammate didn't see it that way. It's not known what fellow player did follow.
Went too far.
It's not known what the fellow player did following the incident. The complaint was filed to the Raiders Human Resources Department, which investigated the incident, sources told Adam Schefter. The Raiders, through a team spokesperson, declined to comment.
So if you are explaining that whole situation with playful, right? Then it's coming from a different place. However, from what I've heard about this injury, the team wanted him to have an additional surgery, and he said he didn't need it.
Well, he got a second opinion. I think
he got a second opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's...
Which is, let me explain something to you. In a lot of cases, the team doctor pays what is a licensing fee to be the team doctor. And as players learn this, it doesn't mean that the team doctor isn't a good doctor, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's the best doctor. So you always hear, when I was playing, guys going to Stedman or Andrews to have surgeries done by the best.
The great James Andrews, Dr. James
right.
Andrews.
And so he got a second opinion, which you can do. Like, you're allowed to get a second opinion. You do not have, I found out the hard way. And they determined he didn't need surgery or whatever. So that dispute, right? That situation right there is not grounds to take his money, right? The HR situation, I don't know You know, if in the story they say he playfully did it, you know, that like, then that means everybody was laughing at the guy, right?
Mhm.
Let me see, I can tell this. Yeah, I can tell this. We played with a guy who was gay. We all thought he was gay,
Mhm.
right? His name is Asera Tuala.
Did he out himself already?
Huh?
Did he out himself?
Long time ago.
Oh, okay. I just
We
wanna make sure you're not
didn't.
outing him.
He was from like he was Polynesian or something.
Mhm.
Okay.
Excellent singer. He probably come out with like 2 or 3 albums. So like, and we would always. He was really good friends with Johnny. We all hung out though, right? We all thought that he was, but nobody said something because dude was getting sacks.
Mhm.
He came out afterwards and we got, oh, okay, we thought so, right? Like, at no point in time, see, in situations like that, you have to be comfortable with who you are. It has nothing to do with the other person, right? And I think a lot of times when guys get in a situation that even would insinuate anything like that, they feel like they have to be extra manly, right? When in actuality, you really don't.
Yeah, I think one of these things, the thing that I don't like with the Christian Wilkins thing, that like we all see, I think it's a couple things. I think that I don't know how nationally known Christian Wilkins was.
Yeah, but he's a pest
before a story like this. But like now, like everybody's getting the montages of like the grabbing the junk. Like these are all things that we knew, but he was always known as a dirty player. Like that was
right.
That's something that was common with him, that he annoyed Josh Allen, that he'd do some things dirty at the bottom of the pile, things like that. And now people are just kind of going to this in these conclusions of, oh, well, Christian Wilkins is this, we have no idea.
Right.
And we have no idea that.
And I never, and even with all these stories, I've never even considered it because of, one, the situation that I lived in Minnesota, and 2, he's a nuisance. He's always been that guy. Every single team that he played against said that guy's relentless. He doesn't stop. He's annoying.
Yeah, but
right.
Yeah, just I get that, but just don't be grabbing my junk and start kissing.
Yeah, but do we think that he's doing that to like? We think that he's doing that to teammates all the time. Like that's what I'm saying.
How about
if you have a situation, here's what I'm just asking. I'm saying this. What's more likely? For 5 years, Christian Wilkins was here.
You just said it.
For 5 reasons, Christian Wilkins has been here. He's been nothing but an upstanding teammate. Everybody said he's the best guy, comes to work, does everything the right way. Yes. Is he a pain in the ass to play? He is.
Yes.
We know he's if you want to say, hey, what are his quirks? That he loves Hamilton. Like, okay. Some people like musicals. Some people do.
So the Seth.
Wait, can I just say this? Vlad is just adding it to the list.
I'm just saying.
Check.
But okay. However,
so does Seth MacFarlane.
Okay,
you know.
But however, with this, what like all the
pros and cons.
No, but all of a sudden, Christian Wilkins is being made to be like he's some like almost like a predator in his own locker room.
Okay,
which is on the backing of a team trying to get off of $30 million guaranteed, which seems like really nasty work by them, Vlad.
It is
to
nasty
paint
work.
him in this kind of a
it's
picture.
Nasty work, but here's the only reason why I'm shooting a little bail. It's not on the Raiders. It's on what happened in the locker room. You're right. Christian Wilkins, 5 years. So the Dolphins staff knows him. This was his first year in this Raiders organization. If you're doing things that might have been okay in Miami, but it's not okay in Vegas, and they've told you, hey, relax. Like, I don't play these type of games, and you continue it, that's an issue.
Yeah, but is it really that? Or is that what's being painted now because everybody thinks it's ridiculous?
Vlad,
that's where
this is real life right here.
Vlad, that's where my suspicion lies with this, because I think the thing is, in social media, we take all this circumstantial stuff,
right,
that we could add up and make a conclusion about a guy who's been nothing but an upstanding player and citizen for the NFL. He has an injury that he doesn't quite agree on, and we've seen a lot of times that teams can get pretty gnarly with this stuff. And now we're seeing an unprecedented thing They're trying to get off of 30+ million guaranteed. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. And it's also an organization that's looked down upon as a circus. What can we do to get people backing us? Hey, this guy was not somebody we can work around with because, he's got some behaviors. It just doesn't sit well with me, Vlad.
It does sound it here. So we're taking the two sides and trying to use what we know of them to come to a conclusion of how this all went. We know Christian Wilkins. We also know the Raiders, right? Now, the one thing that I would say is we don't know the other guy. But I know this. I know some people that will push the envelope to make you feel uncomfortable because you're not secure with who you are. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, Richie Incognito.
Right.
And
so from that standpoint, like you have to be more comfortable with who you are and know that ain't my thing, dude, or whatever. Right? But we get so caught up in trying to be, and Vlad, this our people, even more so, where you can't just say, hey, man, enough with that foolishness. You got to let everybody know you ain't down with that.
The only way you do that, if this happens continuously and you're like, hey, man, stop playing around. And then after the person continuously does that, they continually do that, then you're going to have to make a point. Like you might have to make a scene.
Might have to throw hands.
You might have to throw hands.
Yeah.
You don't want to throw hands. You don't want to throw hands because then all of a sudden that's a split in the locker room.
Or you might get your ass.
Or you might get your ass kicked, right? No, that's the other reason. Now we don't know who the person's kissing the forehead, but guess what? If it was Max Crosby and Max Crosby said enough, guess what?
He gone.
Right.
I don't think Max Crosby knows where HR is located. Look at him. He looks like a Sons of Anarchy.
Well, that's the thing. You might.
I just think that
you think Max Crosby's ever watched an HR module?
No, he's probably watching season 3 of Gemma on the Sons of Anarchy.
Like Max Crosby strikes me as somebody, if he didn't like something Christian Wilkins was doing, he will throw hands on it. Now, if it was a rookie that didn't like what he was doing, but that's the thing is, we don't know who the player is, and that's the thing is, I'm not saying anybody's wrong with their conclusions or whatever you're feeling. That's fine. But there's just something about me that's like, nobody's skeptical about this. Nobody looks back at this and is just like, oh, wait a minute, wait. But you guys are looking for a way to get off 30 million guaranteed. He's filing a grievance, and you better have a damn good reason.
Ask you this,
Vlad. Think about it this way: if all you have is the past history of the two parties, right?
I'm going with Wilkins.
Right.
But guess what though? I don't know what happened.
No, we don't know. We're guessing.
It might be the reason why
we're guessing.
The Dolphins didn't re-sign him because they think he plays around too much. Maybe his playing around might have worked in South Florida. You go to a different locker room, Leroy. You know this.
Yeah.
You go to a different locker room. You've got to adjust to how that locker room is. Whether it's a bad Raiders organization, you still have to adjust to this new locker room that you're going in.
Yeah.
This new organization.
I would also say that could very well be true. But if it is, let me say something to people, right? 100 tackles is 100 tackles. And we live in a world now where we tolerate some people that do some pretty crappy stuff in this world because of the success they have.
Leroy, let me ask you a question.
And so I'm saying, grow up, Peter Pan.
Leroy,
the production is what matters the most.
Would you let another man kiss you on the top of your head? You let another teammate kiss you on the top of your forehead? You're thinking about it, so that means no.
No,
so
no.
He did have to take a piggyback ride one time.
Yeah.
That's
like, but I would say this.
Would you allow another man
it's
to
not
put
a matter.
his lips on your forehead?
It's not a matter of allow. We ain't like embracing or anything like that. But if somebody did something and patted me and did that, I would be like, "What's up?" I'm not going. You know why? Because I'm comfortable with who the hell I am.
But they're also hold on. There could
also You know what? I hate when you try to tell me how I will react. I'm telling you, I'm giving you an honest damn answer. That, you know what? I'm comfortable with who I am.
But I also think that
for you to tell me how I would react in a certain situation is crazy. Stop doing it.
Okay.
I'm more insulted by that than the scenario that you pick up. You telling me how I will react. The thing is no matter what the situation is, I'm comfortable with who I am. Right? Now, it could very well get to a point where you got to say a little something more or do a little something more, but it would have nothing to do with me trying to defend my masculinity. It would have to do with, yo, you ain't gonna come over here.
But that's the reason. That's what I'm saying. So you're answering my question. It's not about you making this about masculinity or all of that. It's about respect. So the fact and space. So the fact of the matter is, you're not gonna like somebody just willy-nilly out of the blue, just kiss you on the top of your head. You're gonna ask that person what's wrong. And if he continually does that, and you continually tell him, "Hey, enough of that," then what?
Yeah, well, listen, Vlad. Again, we're still in a position where look, we could find something heinous that could have come out because, like, the kissing on the meeting, like whether it's a line or not a line, I don't think that's a cuttable offense. You know, I mean, like, dude, this football players, like, you know, my boy Brett Romberg one time put his deal in a hot dog bun to show to Larry Coker.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Like, this is a crazy environment sometimes, right?
It's
like we're sitting here.
That's the hardest thing to explain. The hardest thing to explain is you have a bunch of 300+ pound guys who take liberties of doing stuff to people because it's funny, not because it means anything.
Right.
And if you were to tell these stories to other people, they would
it's how everybody took Bullygate, right? Like a lot of football players like, you know, this is like, yeah, if you just put it in a corporate PR world and there's a module to it, they're like, whoa, like, you know, it would be heavens to Betsy. You know, they would take it a certain way. And so I'll leave the wiggle room for, hey, maybe Christian Wilkins did something really wrong. I'm not saying you should, you know, kiss anybody in the head playful if they don't want to be. I'm just saying I'm still stepping back on this and being like, this kind of feels like they're trying to paint him in a certain way to get off the money. I'm just that's just where I'm at with this thing right now.
I'll give you a perfect example, and not anything along these lines. But when we saw John Randall in the casino that one time in Vegas, how did he run up to me like a child? Right? I'm telling you, John Randall has the energy of a 2-year-old. And he practiced that way. He played that way to the point where I told you, we went at it every day because he played too damn much. Right? And I said, you know what? It was never a him problem. It was a me problem because he brought that energy in everything that he did. And I had a problem with it. You see what I'm saying? So, like, it's the stuff that goes on with the playfulness of these giant individuals. It's weird and sometimes quite disturbing that a guy that big plays like a child.
We'll take a break here on the show. Appropriately, the damage is done, my friend. Who's next?